ain't easy, being me. Will I see the penitentiary or will I stay free? It ain't easy, being me. Will I see the penitentiary or will I stay free? Man, you already know what it is. Jay Williams, let's live life, and we're back. Big shout out to Chad Marks on the fitted. Black on white, gotta love it with the big buffalo. Chad went to the game last week, said, Jay, I got you a gift. What do I send this to? So make sure y'all go check out Blood on the Razor Wire TV. And once again, salute, thank you for the hat, Chad Marks. Got a good video for y'all today. I've kind of sort of done something like this before, but kind of sort of not. What's better, prison or jail? Now, before we even get started, let me make this clear. Neither is a place you want to be in. Not now, not then, not ever. Out here, free, in that briar patch, in that abandoned house, and that abandoned house, and that house that should be abandoned is a better place to be than being locked up. Jacob Aquino just went off parole and got his answer. I'm going to do a video on that. Jacob Aquino once told me, we were sitting in a cell late night, he said, if they told me I could leave right now, but I had to sacrifice a body part, I would let them choose whatever they wanted. Arm, leg, I wouldn't care what it is, they could have it. Just let me go home. That is the sense of hopelessness you get. Talking to all these different guys that are locked up, man, it really gives me anxiety at times, because that was all I knew. That was my life for a decade. Even before that, you had all the time up. That was the majority of my life was been being incarcerated, and I don't miss it. But with all that being said, today, prison or jail? If I had to choose one to go to right now, I had no choice in the matter. They're locking me up, taking me up out of here. Do you want to go to jail or do you want to go to prison?
If you want to go to jail, you want to go home.
Where would I rather be and why? A lot of the major differences in the two. A lot of people think jail and prison are the same. They are absolutely not the same. The way people politic, the way people act, the levels of violence, any and everything you can think about when you compare the two, it's like night and day. The only thing that they really have in common is people are incarcerated, the food is really bad, and you're not going to enjoy yourself. Let's get into prison or jail. Which one is worse? You know how to seen it. You know how to lived it. So let's relive it. You get locked up and you go to jail, there's a process. Going to prison, there's a process. You've been arrested. You did something wrong. Then it caught you where you shouldn't be. Doing what you shouldn't do. You done broke the law. You're going through intake. They're going to mugshot you. They're going to fingerprint you. They're going to classify you. Classification is where they determine where you stay. Was you out there doing big boy stuff? Breaking big laws? Acting big gangster in the streets? Catching felony charges? Oh, you're going to go felony side. Or was you just stealing out of people's cars? Doing random little dumb stuff and catching misdemeanors? You're going to the misdemeanor side. Same thing happens with prison. Are you a petty criminal? If so, you're going to probably go to a work center. You're going to go to a low custody camp or prison, whatever you want to call it. But if you was really, really doing bad stuff, you were robbing, you were killing, you was just shoot 'em up, bang, bang, you can go where the big boys are. Both have a process of classification. Which one is worse? Processing in jail, processing in prison. I've actually been to jails where you come in and they dump this lice stuff, this powder all over you. Stuff burns your skin. It's like lye. And then you have to stand there for a few minutes and then butt ball naked, you step into a shower where a guard or an inmate in some cases watches you from the other side. And then they pass your clothes through a hole and you change out of what were once your clothes and you change into whatever the jail's uniform is. You get sent off to prison. You're going to get on a bus or a van, and you're going to drive for several hours until you get to your destination, at which point you're going to come in, and you're going to go through a similar process. They're going to do the whole squat, cough, cheeks, all that. Same thing you went through in jail. They're going to ask you questions. They're going to take a new picture of you because this is your DOC picture. Just like you got that mug shot in jail, you now get another mug shot because that is going to be your ID. That is going to be your driver's license. That's going to mean that you have graduated to dum-dum school and you are now an inmate. Look at you, dummy. There you are. See that? There you are. Which process is worse? I would have to say jail. When you get arrested, you might sit in that front holding area. CFCF in Philly, I've seen it take sometimes 2 to 3 days before you get through booking, before you get through the process of cell after cell after cell, question after question after question, until you finally make it to a cell. One of the craziest questions I ever had asked to me was at CFCF. And for y'all that don't know, that's a lockup in Philly. That's 7901 State Road. That's Karen Fromhold Correctional Facility. It's one of the most notorious jails in the city of Philadelphia. But one of the questions they asked you when you come in is, if something was to happen to you, where would you like your body sent? Excuse me? Did you say, what's my phone number? No, we said, where would you like your body sent? I'm not understanding you, man. It sounded like y'all said, where would I, what's going to happen to my body? What do you mean? What do you mean, where would I like my body sent? What, are you going to put me in a box and mail me to my mom's house? Where would I like my body sent? Is that a real thing? You're just going to ship my body to somebody? Who's your emergency contact? Why would I need an emergency contact if I'm dead? That was definitely a scary question to be asked. Where would you like your body? How many people are dying here that this has become part of their application? Not, what is your address, next of kin, where would you like your body shipped? So when it comes to the processing, jail versus prison, jail definitely win. Let's get to the next part. Food. Now you have commissary in jail. Now this is a list of food items that, if you are lucky enough, if you have somebody out there in the world that cares about you, you didn't burn all your bridges, grandma likes you, maybe you got a neighbor down the street, maybe you got a girl. If somebody likes you enough to send you some money, what are you gonna buy? You can get soups, you can get sodas, you can get candy. Jail stuff is typically much more expensive than prison. I remember the rumors when I was in jail. Man, you getting ready to go to prison, Jay? Man, they got honey buns in there this big for 59 cents. Granted, they do got some big honey buns. Them icy white honey buns are like this. In the jail, you would buy the box of honey buns. And it would be just a regular box, and it'd be a little small honey bun. Jail had, at times, more exclusive items that you wouldn't realize were exclusive until you got to prison, where it's pretty much the same items year in and year out. Doesn't much change with the prison commissary list. Commissary in jail is way more expensive than it is in prison. But then again, in prison, you can buy big bags of chips. In prison, you can buy sodas. In prison, you can also buy personal property, New Balances, Nikes, Reeboks, Pro Timberlands, Levi jeans. This is places I've been at. Different clothing. You can buy your own boxers, socks, wife beaters, t-shirts, beanies. Now the jail offers stuff, but it's basically a white pair of shoes, some thermal bottoms, the basics. So when it comes to who wins when it comes to commissary and the items you can buy, I'm going to go with prison. You can also, in some states I've been in, you can order a television. At the time I came in, I had a CD player and a tape deck. I was still ordering tapes. Dudes would run into me and be like, Jay, you got the such and such CD? I'd be like, no, but I got it on tape. They'd be like, damn, homeboy, how long you been locked up? You got a tape player? How did you get a tape player? I ordered it off commissary. How long have you been locked up? That's crazy. Matter of fact, do you got the 50 Cent on vinyl? Prison definitely has a bigger selection than jail. Now, when it comes to feeding, like your everyday meals, say you don't have any money. You don't go to commissary. You are what we call indigent. You're a chow hall baby. You're going to eat everything on that tray. Now, this is going to vary between jails. It's going to vary between prisons. The higher you go up the chain in prison, like max custody status, the worse the food is going to get. Because people complain nonstop in the maxes because just living conditions are terrible. So if you say the food sucks, nobody's really going to care or pay attention to you because, well, they're dealing with that guy getting stabbed and that guy has blood on the back of his jumper, around his buttocks. We probably should address that situation. Sorry your food tasted bad. You don't like it. Don't come to prison. Jail, I was in the jail, we would get hot dogs, chicken, actual real food. Once you get into the penal system, the penitentiary, you're going to eat a lot of soy products, byproduct, processed foods, foods that you do not know what they are. Like meat rock. Meat rock. That's the actual name. They call it loaf. We call it meat rock, wolf foot. There's a lot of different names for it. But it is a paste that is squirted onto a pan and baked, and it's supposed to be some type of meat, but it literally looks like a rock. You could take it, throw it in the yard with a bunch of other rocks, walk right by it, and you would never know. Jail loses when it comes to, I'm going to say, commissary. Because with prison, you get the big bags of chips, you can order more, you get more. But when it comes to actually eating and who feeds you, jail wins on that half. So prison's got it on lock when it comes to commissary. But as far as the food goes, the jail wins. You notice this, people say, jail's this, jail's that. You ain't never seen nobody go to jail and come home skinnier than they were when they went in. Unless they went in and got in shape. But you'll see skinny guys go to jail and come home 300 pounds. Like, damn, you was eating good in there. And that's because they have a high starch diet. They're going to feed you potatoes and things you don't really want to eat, but you're going to eat them. Because in a lot of cases, you have no other option. I was a guy that went to the hole a lot. So I ate a lot of what the hole offered, what the prison offered. When you go to the hole, most places, you don't get no commissary in the hole. That's a luxury item. Oh, you like to fight? No, you will not be going to commissary. Eat some toothpaste or some cough drops. That's your options. So there you have the two. Jail, prison. Prison wins on the commissary. Jail definitely wins when it comes to the food that's going to be served on your tray. Next up, the levels of violence. I honestly cannot remember. I cannot remember my first fight. I remember my first fight in the detention center, but I don't remember. I'm trying to think. I think I know which one was first, but I'm not positive. Fighting in jail is a non-stop ordeal. You've got guys that are still strung out over that girl on the streets. They're still convinced, even though she ain't picked up the phone in 5 months, that today when they dial the phone, she's going to answer. Now, that's a guy that you can say the smallest thing to, bump into, look at the wrong way, and he's going to be ready to dig up in your mouth. Versus prison. You're no longer calling that girl. You've been locked up 1.5 years, 2 years now. She's gone. You know she's gone. By now, she might even have a baby. She might have 2. Jail fights pop off all day because guys do not yet know how to bid. Bid is the way you move, the way you live, the way you carry yourself. Are you an inmate or are you a convict? Are you a guy that just goes around all day, starting trouble, doesn't know how to do his time? Or that guy, that's an inmate. Or you a convict, a guy that can fly below the radar, a guy that knows how to do his time, stay out of others' way, make his money, make his moves, and exist in here without constantly getting jammed up. At one point, I was an inmate. But after being locked up long enough, I come to realize I'm really tired of going to the hole. Now I'm going to go to the hole if I have to, not because I did something and got caught like an idiot. So when it comes to violence and fighting, a lot of fighting in prison. There's some guys in prison that love to fight. They live to fight. They want to fight. They shadow box in their cell all day. A lot of these guys boxed on the streets, and they want you to come out your mouth sideways so that they can show everybody else in here that they don't just shadow box. So they can show everybody else in here they didn't just pretend to box on the streets. They really did. You got some dudes in the prison system that did not know how to fight when they came in, that went through the jail system getting beat up, that learned how to fight while in prison. that sparred with people or just learned through trial and error and lump after lump on what not to do, that got really good at it. So if I had to say which one has more fighting in it, I'm definitely going to put jail up there. Guys fight nonstop in jail for the stupidest things. Plus, you can't have a TV in your cell, so you might get to fighting over the TV. A lot of times, commissary won't show up, so you might get to fighting over your food. Then you've got the guys in there that do not belong in jail, that belong in nut houses, that need to be shipped off somewhere. They need special needs, special care. They've not been diagnosed yet. That guy might be your cellmate. He usually doesn't go to prison. Even though there is crazy people in prison, that guy usually goes to a nut house. So you've got him walking around talking to himself all day when he decides to walk by and just reach out and touch you and punch you in the side of the face. So when it comes to the one-on-one physical aspect of just fighting, there's more of that in jail. But when it comes to the overall level of danger, oh, that's prison by a long shot. Jails, some jails, do have knives in them. It's not a secret. Some jails, dudes are living like that and do have shanks and metal and plexiglass and pieces of fence, but not most times. You get up into the penal system, you get up into prison where you come in there knowing that a large majority of men around you have taken another human life. Oh, you're going to want to get a knife real quick. Or say the first time you're just minding your business and you see a man completely lose it and pull out something and run up on another man and just start hitting him with it over and over and over and walk away from him as if that wasn't another human being. What do you think you're going to want to do after that? You don't get the option of going home. You're in prison now, so there is no bail. There is no, I'm sorry, I was play pimping, I was play thugging. I'm not really a bad guy. I'm really not. Y'all can just let me go home. You don't get that option. No. You can make bond in jail. Ain't no bond in prison. You are there until your sentence is done. So when you see somebody get attacked like that, you've either already got a weapon because you know things like that happen, or your next step is to be, hey, where can I get a knife at, man? Even if you don't want a knife, you need a knife. Because what happens when that man decides that he wants to stab you? So when it comes to overall violence, jail is going to win when it comes to the fighting. But if you wanted to put that on a scale and say, what's more violent? Prison definitely wins. I have seen people get stabbed. I've seen people get cut. I've seen people get bashed with hard objects in jail. But I have not, and I do repeat, I have not ever in my lifetime seen the level of violence in jail that I have seen in prison. And it wasn't a once, a twice, a 3 times type thing. Prison is a violent, violent place. There are men in there that love to hurt other human beings. There are men in there that are never, ever going home. Real quick, if you have not subscribed to Jay Williams, I'm Living Life, go subscribe to Jay Williams, I'm Living Life. Why miss out on all the content? We got 2 channels where we do so much more. Make sure you don't miss out on that. Get back to your video. There are men in there that are never, ever going home. And a judge telling them, you have yet taken another human life. So I'm going to execute you for what you've done. For that man, that is early release. Otherwise, his release date is 50, 60 years from now, when he dies of old age. Guys in jail still have hope. They're still going to court. Everybody says it. I said it. Man, I ain't worried about this. I'm going to beat this case. On the phone, baby girl, I'll be home in a couple months. Don't even, I'll be home in a couple months. Don't sell my car. Yeah, she's already sold it. Don't get rid of my clothes. I'll be home in a couple months. You get found guilty. Now, you do got guys in prison that will push paperwork. They're still working on their appeal process. And every now and then, somebody does get released by the grace of God. Look at Chad Marks. He did it. Got himself out of prison. For the most part, guys are not getting released from prison until their sentence is served. Greensville, for instance, where I did most of my time at, the majority of the population up there had a life sentence. So when your opponent, your op, the guy you're beefing with, is never going home. And you're going home in a few years. Say you got 10 years. Say you got 15 years. Say you got 5 years. Who's more likely to catch a body? Who's more likely to take a life? The guy with 5 years that has his entire life to lose, or the guy with 783 years who is never going home? That guy with all that time will butcher you down. He will stab you like you are not a human and walk right over top of you and lose no sleep about it and do it again and again and again. Because what's the worst they can do to him? Lock him up for life? Ha! They've already done that. Some of the benefits of jail versus prison. One of the biggest benefits of prison is being able to go outside. Now, you get wrecked in jail and you get wrecked in prison. Most jails I've been to, your wreck consists of going outside inside of a bricked-in area with cage on the top. Or it might be a solid brick cube with cage around the top and brick on the top. But you never really see grass. I think House of Corrections in Philly was the only place I'd ever been where I could actually step outside and see the sun. And that place is now condemned, closed down. It was an old dungeon. Look up House of Corrections in Philadelphia. Terrible, another terrible, terrible jail I've been through. Notorious, notorious jail. When it comes to rec, most jails have a gym. Almost all prisons have a gym. Gym is where you'll go at nighttime, where you'll go when it's snowy outside, or they have a heat advisory. Guys don't generally go to the gym a lot. That is your recreation. While in jail, the most fresh air you're going to get, the most of the outside you're going to see, is going to be in transport. When you're heading back and forth to court, and you're in the back of a van peeking out of a crack, or in the back of a cop car peeking out the window looking at how the world is living without you. Now, once you get to prison, we have the yard. The door actually opens. And I still remember what it felt like when that sun hit me in the face as I stood there. Like I literally just stood there and let the sun just beat on my face. I was so pale. I hadn't been outside in forever. I was pale. You can always tell the new guys that are coming straight from the jail because they're pale. And I just stood there. Let the sun hit my face. You ever just wanted to touch grass? Walked over, ran my fingers through the grass, picked it up like grass. It gives you some sense of being human. In the jail, 99.999% of your time is going to be confined to a building, walking down a hallway, locked in a cell. Jails also stay locked down a lot more than prisons do. They can't keep prisons on lock like that because eventually guys will get tired of it. They'll riot. They'll burn the prison down. The guys in jail, they're coming and going. Everybody's dreaming of going home. So there's no unity. That's why you don't really hear about riots in jails. Because prison, nobody's really got anything to lose. Jail, these guys still think they're going home, so everybody believes they got something to lose. Hey, we're gonna spark it off here today. We're gonna have a riot. We're gonna show them who runs this. Nah, look, bro, I go home in 30 days. I got a case coming up tomorrow I'm about to beat. Nah, I'm gonna go lock down. Y'all do that. What y'all gonna do? Yeah, nah, I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm small fry. Enjoy that though, because you can catch a whole bunch more time. So when it comes to the freedom aspect of it, the recreation, the getting outside of the cell, prison definitely wins on that end. Now we take all that and we mash it together, right? The coming in process, everyday life, the food you eat, the levels of violence. Now let's not forget this part. Jail, you get visitation. Prison, you get visitation. Most jails, you sit behind glass, and that's how you see your people. I've been in jails where there's solid plexiglass, and you got to pick up a phone and talk to your people on the other side of the glass. I've been in jails where there is no phone. There's little holes drilled in it, and you sit there and you talk to your people through the glass like that. And then like in Philly, in CFCF, you go sit right in the visitation room. Sit right down with your people. House of Corrections. Sit right in the visitation room. Sit down with your people. Those are only two jails I've ever been to where you can have face-to-face contact with your visitors. That is not very common in jail. Most jails, the majority, I'm not going to say all because I just gave you two. The majority of jails, A lot of them now are doing video visits where you don't even get to go see your people. You go up to the jail, you sit down on a booth, and your visitor goes to another part of the jail where you can see each other on TV, and you sit there and you talk to a TV screen up at the jail. Prison is going to be the place where you're going to get to see your loved one, where you might get to embrace your girl, your mother, your child, your loved ones. And it might have been a long time. I've met men who have sat in jail up to 3 years fighting their cases before they made it to prison. So it's been 3 years without a embrace, 3 years without a hug, 3 years without a kiss, whatever it is, any type of real contact, unless you're into what a lot of guys are into in there. I'm not my thing, but do what you do. Prison, you're going to be allowed the opportunity to get visits. And if people still message you, you still got loved ones, you got people that are going to come see you, you're going to call to the visitation room. And you're going to sit down for an hour or so. Your people are going to go to vending machines. They're going to get you snacks, potato chips, zoom zooms, wham whams. I've been at places where they got microwavable cheeseburgers, microwavable hot wings. You ever ate some hot wings out of a vending machine that had them? Oh my, best hot wings in the world while you're locked up. You can't convince me otherwise. The jail, not a whole lot to look forward to. Just the fact that you're going to see somebody you care about. Visitation Day used to be a big deal. And if you want to see a sad man, you want to see a man that's completely broken, let somebody build his hopes up to thinking he's got a visit coming. And all week long, he's telling everybody, man, she come to see me this week, bro. I'm telling you, she coming. Man, she done said that 8 times. You done look stupid. She ain't ever showed up. No, man, she really coming this time. We talked. We made everything better. She's coming. And you see him start calling names, and he's up there waiting, and they don't call his name. They go to walk off. He's like, hey, you ain't call my name. Yeah, because ain't nobody come to see you. No, check the paper again, man. That girl, I just talked to her. She said she was on the way up, and she's probably in the lobby right now and probably just signed in. Can you call up to the front? No, we're not calling her up front. She's not here. But she said, last call for visitation. I'm going to just go. You're not going nowhere. You're not going nowhere. She didn't come to see you. God, that just gave me goosebumps. Those are bad days. But that prison visit, when you get to actually go over there and smell your woman, smell your mother, a familiar smell, lean in and hug your child, smell his hair, her hair, feel their warm embrace. You may be locked up, and at times you feel inadequate, you feel unhuman, you feel like a monster for things you see, living conditions, and things you're forced to do. But I don't care who you are. In that moment that you go to that visitation room, it's like time stands still. All that matters is who came to see you. I've seen guys fall head over heels in love with women they would never in a million years be with in the real world. But she writes him. She sends him money. And then my guy's been locked up. What's one of the most common things you see in the visitation room? That super buff dude with that woman that's like 500 pounds. Or that little frail skinny dude comes waddling over there with his big old head. And a woman that's 7 times his weight, 3 times taller than him. But he swears to God he loves her. And then all that changes, as y'all know, when he gets out. Me, I can say one thing, and one thing for sure, I stay true to mine. Me and my wife used to really go back and forth because she believed what women told her. He's just going to use you. That's what guys in jail do. They use you for your money. We're not all like that. I made a list of promises. I not only lived up to every promise I made, I added a whole bunch to that list, and I did all that too. So if you go back and you recap everything we just went over, which is worse? Level of violence in prison, way, way worse. Would I rather get punched in the eye or have a bone crusher stuck to the side of my neck? I'm going to go with the punch in the eye. So prison is definitely a more violent place. Jail's food is better than prison's food. But just based off of the being able to go outside and get fresh air, being able to wear sweatpants, watch television in my cell, see my girl, see my mom. Have family members come visit me. Stand outside, breathe in that fresh air, and look at the sky. Prison is where I would rather be. I know a lot of people will be like, man, you are tripping. I told you in the beginning, you should not want to be in either. I would personally rather be in prison. The whole process of being in jail is just stressful. It is beyond stressful. You have a lot of idiots, morons, guys that do not know how to do time around you at all times. Opposed to prison where you got convicts around you. Men that have been doing time for a long time that know how to stay out of the way. 9 out of 10 inmates in jail are in the way. It's not like that in prison. The majority of the men, except for like an exclusion to like the gang members that are always in the middle of something, but the majority of the real men stay out of stuff. They mind their business. They don't run around causing trouble all day, causing grief. Jail, that's all it is. It's non-stop something going on. So when it boils down to the topic at hand, which is worse, jail or prison? I would definitely say jail is worse. And I would gladly, if I had to, take prison any day over jail. I hope y'all enjoyed today's video. Didn't write anything down. This is just off the top of the head. There was so much I could have added, so many other things I could have added, situations I've seen, situations I've been in, different events that took place throughout time. But I just more or less wanted to stick to the facts on this one. Both are very bad places. Both are places that you go to when you have shown the world that you cannot follow the rules. Yes, there is a small portion of men, a very small portion of men that are innocent. But like I said, that's a very small portion. Stay out here. Make videos on what's better, PlayStation or Xbox, Ford or Chevy, male or female, boot or shoe. Don't get locked up. Because at the end of the day, both of them suck. Prison sucks. Jail sucks. Incarceration in general sucks. Don't do either. But me, Jay Williams, my personal opinion, from my experiences, if I had to choose one, it would be prison. Where do I want my body sent to? Hell, you mean what I want? What are you doing? I still can't get over that where do you want your body sent to question. With all that being said, these jails, these prisons, these penitentiaries, these facilities, they're all just crazy worlds inside of a already crazy world we live in. And as always, y'all know what I'm doing. Just trying to keep y'all entertained. Are you not entertained? And like always, this is Jay Williams, Let's Live Life. And to all my real ones, and there are some real ones watching, because y'all still watching me. And y'all know how we do. Salute.